Welcome to Table Talk, where there's always room at the table. I am your host, Jonathan Harmon of the J. Harmon Home Team, and we can't wait to talk to these fine guests. Enjoy the show.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Trent. How's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. How's it feel to be at 4:02 instead of 4:22 today?
Feeling very good about that.
I know, man. This is outstanding.
You got special company. Step it up a bit.
That's I put my A game on, and we were still 1 minute late. I'm sorry, General, but we'll do better next time, I promise. But so we'll take care of a little bit of business first, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest today. It is Lieutenant General. Is that correct? Keith Huber, 3-star, retired. He is now has his mission over at MTSU with the Charlie and Hazel Daniels Veterans and Family Center. There amongst many other things. And we're going to talk all things veterans today and veterans in the community and how our community is better because of that. And then also how you can make it better for the veteran community. Is that pretty good synopsis?
Absolutely.
Outstanding. So we'll cover a whole bunch of that. We are going to real quick pay the bills, though. So we're going to talk for a second about Mr. Bryan Nale at First Horizon Mortgage. Bryan underwrites this show specifically and is a supporter of all things Spread the Positive. And Trent, are you ready to run his commercial? No, he is not. Yes, he is.
No, I'm not.
No, he's not. Okay.
One job. It'll be in post. Thank you, Bryan.
Yep. We love Bryan Nale, and he's the guy when it comes to mortgages here in Rutherford County and all of Middle Tennessee. Oh, wait, what?
Oh, wait, I got it right here.
Well, see, there you go.
Yeah.
I stalled just long enough.
Yep. Take it away, Bryan Nale commercial.
Hey, my name is Bryan Nale. I'm a mortgage loan officer with First Horizon Mortgage, but I want to tell you that I absolutely love being a part of the Spread the Positive Network. It's such a great mission and brings so much positivity to our community, and it's just a treat to be a part of. There are a lot of ways to navigate financing a home, and in markets like this, having the right advice of a trusted local professional is key to making sure you get the right advice for your specific circumstances. Whether you are interested in the purchase of a new home or have a need to refinance, I'd love to earn your trust. If I can help you nail your mortgage, call me at 615-243-3976, and I'd be happy to talk with you.
First Horizon member FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS ID 472329.
All right.
So, General, did you notice his little pun there where he said,
my name is Bryan Nale.
Mortgage? So I'm not sure who came up with that, but we were already throwing a couple of dad jokes to each other. So I told General Huber to put his headphones on, and he said, sure, because it says sure on top of the headphones. And I was like, okay, it's going to be on today.
To continue to serve our men and women, our veterans, and their precious military family members. As the Senior Advisor for Veterans and Leadership Initiatives for President McPhee, the President of Middle Tennessee State University, which is the home of the Charlie and Hazel Daniels Veterans and Military Family Center, the physically largest and most comprehensive veteran support center on an academic campus in the nation. And that's a credit to the incredible support of President McPhee, of the community, and of this great volunteer state. You know, you mentioned that that I had the opportunity to be with you on a program before, and people would question your rationale or sanity for bringing me back, especially since I'm not here with the better half of the Huber team. My wife,
I got to tell
Shelley.
you, yeah, you're not nearly as pretty of a guest as the previous, but anyway, carry on. I do like your haircut though.
But when I think about the framework that you set for the critical mission of communicating in a civil, accurate, unbiased, apolitical fashion, I really like the way you set the framework of spread the positive. Because I'm absolutely convinced that we all could expend every ounce of energy and thought that we have complaining about stuff.
Absolutely.
Without ever addressing, okay, here's the reality I currently face. I should be thankful for what I have and seek to help those who are in greater need. And part of that question that everyone rhetorically asks of, gee, how can I help and how can I get involved and how can I meet others with similar interests? I mean, part of that solution set is to do your due diligence and do your homework. But this is a platform that you have to talk about how people can get involved and what opportunities are out there and how we can help others. So at the end of whatever hectic day we have, as we do that inventory of our blessings and what we should be thankful for and how we did today and how we should do tomorrow, why we should always seek ways to feel like we've been a good human being. So I'm always excited to share with the community through your platform because, as your advertisement says, I mean, the ability to earn someone's trust. So your behavior, your purative of motive has earned my trust. And I know that what you do is purely to support and inform and allow people to make their choices based upon some knowledge, which is always useful.
Well, and I'll tell you, one of the things that when Trent set up Spread the Positive, you know, his tagline is to bring light to what's going right. And you hinted at something, and it just kind of occurred to me in that is that, you know, we go home, we talk to our spouse, our significant other, our cat, our dog, whatever, and you know, this happened at the office and this happened and this guy, you know, cut me off in traffic and, you know, the gas price and all of these things. And I think it's good. I think it would be useful if most people would end all of that with, okay, but what's going right? You know, and so often people will say, well, nothing's going right. I'd say it's a pretty rare circumstance that truly nothing is going right for someone. You know, I mean, something is going right. And let's at least talk about that for a minute, right? Take a break from all the stuff that's going wrong and let's talk about a few things that are going right. And here's the deal. I know a lot of veterans. I know you know infinitely more than I do. And there's some of them that when we start listing off the things that are not going right, they can have a pretty long list. And our goal is to say, okay, well, what can we do to add to the end of that list of things that are going right? And you guys are nailing it over there. I'll never forget you trained us to say, when we meet a veteran, to say, well, how's the VA treating you? And inevitably, it's not going to be just a stellar answer, you know? But every time that I've asked that and I've gotten whatever answer I've gotten, I've always followed that with, you really need to meet my friend, General Huber. You need to meet him. And you need to get in touch with the center over there, and you need to see how you can better be served because you deserve to be better served. We made a commitment with you when you decided to be one of our warriors to take care of you in some way, shape, or form. And there are benefits that you're entitled to. And if you're not getting them, we need to get that fixed. So at least something can go right for you.
No, I'm deeply appreciative of you being the advocate for letting veterans and family members know that there is a place they can go that will never be able to replicate the trust and the camaraderie that they had in uniform.
Right.
But they won't be talking to people who don't understand what service and sacrifice means because they've also worn a uniform. And there are lots of resources out there that far too often people feel are only available for those in the most critical need. And it's simply a lack of awareness.
You brought that up at the last time that we talked about this, and I never thought about that, is that a significant number of our veteran population, they choose not to use the benefits that are given to them, that are extended to them, because and it could be any number of things, but it's basically, it cooks down to, well, I'm not all that bad off. Let's let somebody else use it that needs it more than me. And so at the end of the day, the benefits just go unused, because if everybody kind of has that mindset, well, then who uses it then? you know? And that's fascinating to me, that's it's in an innate, ingrained mindset that, hey, it's not perfect, but let's let somebody that really needs it use that benefit.
Because in our life in uniform, why we had resources, but the resources were always limited. So we were constantly going through the redistribution and the realignment and the reallocation.
Mm-hmm.
And we always provided the resources to those people who needed them most to accomplish the mission. And what veterans fail to realize often is whether they serve 4 or 40 years, regardless of where the military asks them to serve or deployed them, why these are resources or benefits that their selfless service has earned for them and their family, and they're sufficient resources.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so we
underutilized, really.
Yes, we help them bridge that transition path of recognizing that they are worthy of these resources, that they aren't taking them from somebody who needs them more,
mm-hmm.
and that their families need these benefits.
Yeah. Wow. Who would have thought that was a piece of the problem? I never even considered that. And you brought that up the last time. So that's good to know. Well, let's talk. There are so many exciting things that you have to bring to the table today. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff coming up and going on. And I don't know. You said you didn't prepare notes, so I hope you've got a strong memory here, because there was a whole bunch of them when we were talking.
So much like this great community in this great state, if you ask yourself, what reference, what resource do you go to figure out what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Why, I'd offer to you to understand Middle Tennessee State University, and from my foxhole, the support that they provide their veterans and their families is unparalleled in the nation. And you can simply go to mtsu.edu and learn about all the programs that exist at Middle Tennessee State University and all the activities. And you can easily navigate that website because I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And my standard is always, if I can figure it out, why most people will have no issue. And if you really want to get sophisticated, you can go to mtsu.edu/military and it'll bring you right into what we fondly refer to as the Daniel Center webpage. And there you can learn about all our activities and all our opportunities. But let me, with your permission, talk about some of the upcoming events.
Yes, please do.
So this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there's a tremendous event that'll occur for the second year in Nashville, and it's called Big Machine Music City Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm.
And Friday the 5th is identified as Freedom Friday. So all of the events and the concert that'll take place that night are focused on celebrating our veterans, their families, and our first responders. And in fact, if you go to the Daniel Center, why, you'll be able to see a ticket voucher where you can apply for 4 free general admission tickets for the race and the events on Friday. There's a building downtown called the Bridge Building. And
He said that earlier, and I said, the what?
and it's made especially for infantrymen like me because it says Bridge Building. I always used to, when I was in uniform, love to go to Air Force bases because all their buildings had monumental numbers on the side of them, and you never could figure out how to get lost because they were so well identified. So the Bridge Building says Bridge Building on it. But what it does is this year, there's a sponsor that's renting out the 4 floors in this bridge building. Last year, the Daniel Center had an outdoor tent in the fan zone, and we were there to answer questions, and the VA was there for health and benefits. And so we answered a lot of questions, but by golly, like it always is in August, it was hot and sticky and noisy, and so we probably had some people that didn't come by. Well, the Bridge Building is now being called Patriots Outpost, and it will have air conditioning, it will have bathrooms, it'll have water and drinks, and it'll have the Daniel Center and VA healthcare and benefits located there so that veterans and their family members can go and get information and get out of the heat and use a bathroom that's not a porta potty and ask questions of any nature.
And this is the building, so the pedestrian bridge that comes over the Cumberland, this is the building that sticks up off of.
That's exactly right. And it says Bridge Building on it.
Appropriately. Yes.
Appropriately. So that will be facilitated and staffed all weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Excellent.
So there's a sponsor that's providing free tickets for veterans and first responders for Friday's event. But the Bridge Building will be open for veterans and their families all weekend.
Gotcha. And just so you know, you can pick some of those vouchers up at the Daniel Center. And then General Huber has also left a few for us for our happy hour for heroes tomorrow, Wednesday at Cedar Glade Brews. So we'll have a few of those as well. So come in, let us know that you are a veteran or an active military member.
Or first
responder. That's right. And we'll hook you up with a voucher for that.
So as you look at the Daniel Center website, you'll see all of our activities. We have our own monthly podcast that we call Roll Call, and it's an hour-long podcast where we have guest speakers to talk specifically to veterans-related issues. Our next one coming up on the 9th of August is going to feature Jason Bobo, who is the leader of the Veterans Employee Support Group at Jack Daniels.
Excellent.
So he's going to talk about the transition that challenges all of us is how do you go from being in uniform to now being in the community and being in the workforce and being a leader, and how do you do that? So we've got roll call. We have our annual Veterans Impact Celebration.
Tell me more about that.
Coming up on the 25th of August. So Charlie Daniels always would have an annual dinner at the Palm in Nashville that would raise money. And his suggestion to me now 4 years ago was, gee, you're always going to be a part of this event, but you really should think of having your own event in Murfreesboro. And we did the first couple years at the Grove, and Charlie was always there, and he performed, and so that gave us our one charity event to support the Daniel Center. And as you know, why we lost Charlie on the 6th of July, 2020. And then I had the privilege, when Department of Defense granted an exception, because Charlie wasn't a veteran, but his legacy is supporting veterans in the military.
Sure.
Why Department of Defense allowed me to provide military honors. So on the 8th of July, 2020, I presented the American flag that had draped his casket to his beloved wife, Miss Hazel. And I looked her in the eye and said, I promise that Charlie's legacy of supporting veterans and their families will forever increase and be ingrained in the Daniel Center at Middle Tennessee State University. So the 25th of August is when we're doing our Veterans Impact Celebration. Our guest speaker is a renowned author, country music singer, and songwriter, and also a former Army Ranger whose life-changing experience during the Battle of Mogadishu, as recounted in the film Black Hawk Down, Army Sergeant Ranger Kenny Thomas will be our guest, and he'll perform and he'll speak. Last year, we had Rodney Atkins perform an hour-long private concert.
Oh, wow.
So, and it's here at campus, and I just learned that Cedar Glade Brews would be gracious enough to provide beer for the event, and we've gotten the exception to have alcohol on campus for this specific event. So,
Yep, excited to do that. We're very excited to provide that. So, worked the details out last week, as a matter of fact.
So we're very appreciative of that.
So, General, there, what are some of the things, the day-to-day, I guess, operations? I know that we've gone over this a couple times before, but let's do it again. The different staff members that you have there in the center that are available, not just to MTSU students, which I know that being on campus, that's probably the bulk of who utilize the service, but it's also available to any veterans that are in the area. Is that correct?
Yes. Part of my comment about being the most comprehensive in the nation is based upon fact. And we're the only place in the nation. I've got 2 fully funded VA employees that work in the Daniel Center, and one of them's a mental health counselor. President McPhee allows me to serve veterans and their families worldwide without any restriction or requirement that, gee, you've got to be enrolled as a student or you've got to be hired as staff and faculty. So we average 1,200 military veterans and family members enrolled as students each semester, but we easily serve 8,000 to 9,000 veterans a year because Probably 3/4 of the people that call in and ask for help aren't affiliated with MTSU. The first year of COVID, of course, we never closed down, but the first year of COVID, the center took 18,861 phone calls.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. So the help that's offered could be as simple as a redirection, right?
Exactly. I mean, we talk about the challenges of transition,
Mm-hmm.
and we talk about no longer being surrounded by people that you're bound to because of your commonality of task and conditions and mission and service and sacrifice, and that you're literally willing to give your life for.
Right.
And then you take off your uniform and you go, holy mackerel.
Now what?
Where's my sergeant? Where's my captain? Where's my battalion commander? Where's my command sergeant major? Who do I go to ask these questions to? How do I learn from their experience? Who can I trust that's going to give me options and not tell me what to do or sell me a widget?
Mm.
I mean, the world is built on trust.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of a sudden you're extracted from a unit, an organization where you trusted unconditionally because you were bound together. And now you're out in any stretch of the imagination in a less organized, less disciplined. Heck, you even got to figure out what to wear each day. Somebody's not telling you, making it simple.
They didn't issue you the socks this time, did they?
That's right. So to me, those 18,000 plus phone calls indicated that we were doing it right, that we had credibility, that we were known for being timely, accurate, apolitical, unbiased, and we provided people options for their decision, not going, hey, I got the answer, but you better enroll in MTSU, or
Right.
I could show you how to fill out this paperwork, but
If
you know,
were a student,
you're not a member of my team, my club. I mean, a
Mhm.
lot of people fill out paperwork that we help them with that we never see. I mean, we do it virtually, we do it telephonically, and especially now during the summer semester when parents are bringing their sons and daughters around looking at campuses. And I'm walking campus 3 or 4 times every day, so my veterans know that they don't have to make an appointment to see me, that I'm accessible, that if they got a question, they can grab me by the throat and I'll help them out. But it is just so wonderful because I'll see people in the Daniel Center and I'll look at them, and some of the mom and dads are active duty and they're dropping their sons and daughters off, and I go, I got them.
Mhm.
They're family now.
That's great.
This is where they come to. The Daniel Center is here for whatever they need. Internship, part-time job, full-time job, financial advice, whatever your son and daughter needs, we're going to provide it. And I'm telling you that I've got it.
Yep, we've got your back. And it's man, it's really good. And MTSU has supported veterans for a long time. And then they just really increased that, then multiplied that with the center opening. I remember when they were building it out in the KUC there, and I was on the National Alumni Board and got to come tour it, and that right when you guys opened. And even then, I didn't understand the full scope of the services that you guys provided, and I think it's certainly evolved even since those opening days. And it's just really become, like you said, it's a world-class resource for our warriors.
We get a lot of people. I mean, as I interact with the community and the business world, as I talk to the mayors and the city managers and the human resource and the police and the fire and the Secret Service and the FBI, all those occupations that attract veterans who typically have served faithfully 4, 6, 8, 10 years,
Mhm.
and then they go about and continue to serve as first responders and in the community. And I go, look, out of any veteran population, less than 10% are retirees having served 20 years or more, and they have some retirement benefits. So you're looking at 85, 90% of a veteran population, 500,000 in the state of Tennessee, that have no retirement benefits. They got lots of VA benefits, but once again, are they aware or do they feel that they deserve it? And have they applied for it?
Right. And then will they follow through with using it?
And
And
so-
sometimes there's some barrier to that anyway, because the process to actually utilize those benefits it's not always a straight line, is it?
No, and I remember when my daddy, who served in World War II, died now 19 years ago, and I filled out the paperwork, which seemed to be endless, for his service in World War II. And by golly, the VA paid my mama, who lived 9 years after my daddy died, provided her a stipend, monthly tax-free stipend that was more than what her Social Security was.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the VA is, I get those horrible phone calls all the time about, hey, my mom, my dad, my aunt, my uncle just died. They were in the military, they never really talked much about it. Can you help me understand if they have burial benefits? Can you help me get them to a certain VA cemetery? Do you know if surviving spouse, surviving children have benefits?
And
Yes, 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 we help everyone.
And that likely means that they left all kinds of things on the table. That
Absolutely.
call at that time
Yes.
means that they've missed however long worth of benefits that they could have had that would have made. I run into that sometimes just with mortgage loans, with the percentage disability and those types of things. Something as simple as the funding fee in a VA loan can be waived. And people just, they're not aware of that. And it's those intricacies, those small things that make huge difference for our veterans when you add them up. And so it just takes the right person to say, well, have you finished filing? What are you a percent disabled? Well, it's only 15% or it's only 25%. And I was like, well, that's going to save you. Thank you for your service, first of all. And I'm sorry that you lost some faculty of some sort, but that's going to save you several $1,000s every single time that you buy a home using this benefit. And I mean, just something that simple, and that is one out of.
But it's a huge benefit.
It is.
It is a huge benefit, that VA funding fee percentage of the loan that you get. And if you've got 10% disability, which most everyone will, why, that'll be waived.
It's several $1,000s that you don't have to pay. So that's a big deal.
And I, once again, when you go on mtsu.edu/military, when you go to the Daniel Center website, why, you'll see that the university allowed us to begin a tradition of a 9/11 remembrance.
Mm-hmm.
So this 9/11 is on a Sunday, but our keynote speaker is going to be the director of Tennessee Homeland Security, who started out in the Navy and then served 25 years as a Secret Service agent, and now has been the director of Homeland Security for 2.5 years. But when I asked him, I showed him the Daniel Center and asked him how many of his employees were veterans, and it's a high percentage. And I said, okay, let me talk to them about their VA benefits. But I said, what were you doing on 9/11? He said, I was the Secret Service agent that was responsible for the welfare of the Vice President of the United States of America.
So he was pretty busy that day, wasn't he?
So I know his perspective. Last year at 9/11, we had Honorable Alberto Gonzalez, former Attorney General, but at the time he was the General Counsel for President Bush.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're able to bring in people to share.
Where is that going to be held?
We hold it at our Veterans Memorial.
Okay. And for those that aren't familiar, how would somebody get there?
You contact us and we'll show you parking and driving instructions. It's there on campus.
Mhm.
You know, I went to San Diego State and Arizona State University. I looked at places that had veteran centers, and some of them have veterans memorials. San Diego State's got an incredible memorial to the Navy from World War II. Our Veterans Memorial is since the creation of MTSU. We got 68 stars of alumni killed in combat, 8 since 9/11.
Wow.
6 in Iraq and 2 in Afghanistan.
Wow. And so that's on Sunday, 9/11 at what time?
At the time, so it'll begin at 7:32.
Gotcha. Okay. That's good to know. I will make plans to attend.
You'll be invited.
Well, thank you, sir. What are some other things that are coming up?
We have our 12 November football game.
Yes.
Salute to Armed Forces. And so music, barbecue, football tickets, all free for military of any status and their families. And then at halftime, I normally lead between 4,000 and 6,000 veterans across the field.
It is, if you have never attended that is a sight. And I'm getting, look, all the hairs are standing up on my arm just thinking about it. Will they be bringing back one of the things the kids always enjoyed, and they quit doing it for a couple years. I think COVID kind of put the kibosh on that, but they would bring some military vehicles onto campus as well for pregame tailgating and such. Do you know if that'll be back?
Yes.
Outstanding. So that's always cool. The drivers and crew members of those vehicles always, I don't know, they beam with pride over a troop carrier. You know what I mean? I mean, it's their baby, you know, and the kids get in and they climb around and learn about that. And the I forget what it is. There's one vehicle where the whole cab tilts forward like this. My son was just amazed by that when he was little. Dad, how do you drive it? The whole thing's pretty impressive, isn't it?
But I would just ask your audience, as I opened this conversation and we talked about spreading the positive, you know, there's a responsibility of all of us to seek out data points and information to then think and not allow yourself to be so lethargic or lazy or think you're so exhausted that you seek, as you do in a rapid ingestion of food or a Happy Meal, you seek some source to tell you what to think.
Mm.
And a lot of people, when they go, gee, I didn't know that. Well, I want to go, well, did you think about it? Or did you simply wait for somebody to yell at you and tell you what to think? And I use the Wikipedia as the discussion point because people started using Wikipedia to substitute for Encyclopedia Britannica. And I go, okay, do you understand what that acronym Wiki means? And most of the time they go, no. And I go, what I know is. So when you look at Wikipedia, if you check it in following days, you'll find that the definitions and the context has changed because people will look at it and then post on their own opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it used to drive me nuts testifying before Congress and somebody would look down at me and go, well, General, the Washington Post said, and so much of me wanted to be obnoxious and go, okay, is that a credible source?
Right.
Is this a legitimate question? But I knew I couldn't do that. But, you know, it's worth our effort to answer the question of why do we feel certain ways? Why do we believe certain things? Why do we do certain things? Because that'll give us insights into whether or not we're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm convinced that most people don't want to take the effort to think about, well, what do I think? Why do I think this way? Why do I act this way? Why did they treat me this way? And figure that out.
Well, and some of it, I think you're right. I think some of it is laziness. But I think there's some of it that there's a little bit of fear as well. If I start challenging the way that I've always done it, if I start challenging the way I think about things, if I start challenging this, sometimes you just have information in your head and you don't even really realize where you picked up that information. It's just kind of there. And if I start challenging that, then all of a sudden, things that I know, suddenly I don't know quite as well as I thought I did. And that can be uncomfortable for some people. You know what I mean? There's some comfort in certainty, even if the certainty isn't necessarily correct.
Right. And I never want to get over dramatic, but let me put it, a distinction with veterans is those of us who have faced death, those of us who know that we should have died, and those of us who bear the responsibility of others dying, doing the tasks that we ask them to do. Why, there is a thankfulness, a level of gratitude for every day you've been given that is also surrounded by a concern that, gee, am I worthy of this day that I've been given? Of this guilt of, gee, am I properly using this additional time? And so if any of us were to go, gee, this is it, this is my last day, I've got 6 more hours of the last day that I'm going to live in this form, and you reflect upon that, then who would you call? Who would you go see? Who would you write? Who would you say, I forgive you, or beg, forgive me? And how would you change your actions knowing that you had a distinct limitation? And if you find yourself making major azimuth corrections, you should pay attention to that. Because today could be your last day. This year, I've lost 19 of my West Point classmates.
Wow.
I just had a dear friend who within 30 days went from having lunch to me to having a stroke to falling to dying. And he was only 73. So the reality of the very limited time we have should assist us in focusing on, how am I going to serve others? How am I going to be worthy of this day that I've been given? How am I going to be a good human being?
Sure. And hanging on to misinformation or not challenging yourself to do it right or to learn it right certainly is a hindrance to that mission. Yeah. Wow. That's good stuff. See, this is what we want to accomplish, Trent. This is the kind of stuff that we need on this show.
Yes, sir.
So, General, how can somebody that maybe isn't a veteran, how can they help out with the center, or just in general with the mission that you have been charged with?
Absolutely. Get on our website. We've got a technique that you can offer to provide assistance to veterans, to serve veterans and their families. We have Rutherford County Bar Association lawyers come and provide legal advice. We have employers and human resource managers that come and talk about writing resumes and doing job interviews. I mean, there's lots of opportunities for non-veterans to support veterans and their families.
Absolutely. And then there's also some opportunities that are coming up that are kind of in the works right now. Some networking type events and things like that, where veterans can possibly be paired to employers and things of that nature to, to, like you said, integrate them and move them from the uniform to civilian life, I guess. Us people that have not worn that uniform. I've never had to polish my shoes. I have polished my shoes, but I've never had to do it. So that's not true. I went to Boys State for 1 week and I learned how to polish shoes there. But anyway, that's a whole other story. That was a long time ago, and I was really bad at it. Just so you know, I would never have made it through that part of the military. Okay. Well, General, we are, I told you to prepare for around 45 minutes, and we are exactly 45 minutes right now, at least based on Trent's clock, assuming that it's correct.
It's
over
really
there.
close.
Okay. Thank you for all that you've done in service to our country. And then thank you for what you continue to do to serve our country by serving our veteran population. You're a treasure to have here in this community. And I don't know how MTSU landed you, little bitty old MTSU, on that side of Murfreesboro. But it is certainly a better campus because you are there. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
And Trent.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for all you do and helping spread the positive over there.
Yes, sir. Thank you, General. That was awesome.
Got a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah.
I've been reading a little bit about the what's the bus? The oh my gosh, the bus that's traveling around. One of your shows.
Beautiful Strength.
Yes, Beautiful
Yeah,
Strength. Man, some amazing stuff happening.
So cool
with that bus. Yep. So some
shouts to Annette, man.
Pretty
They
good.
went international.
They did?
Yeah, they went into Canada recently, so they're
Oh.
officially international. So that was a big step for her.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I'll tell you all about that when we get off the air. It's pretty neat thing going on there.
Yeah.
Thank you again to Bryan Nale. If you need a mortgage, and he does VA loans, he does them very, very well. Actually, very what's the word I'm looking for? Not succinct. What's the word I'm looking? Efficiently. He manages that process very well, and it can be challenging, shall we say. And if you need some help with real estate stuff, or if you just want to know what the heck is going on, because this market is crazy right now. There's a lot of pausing going on because rates are dropping and then they went up. And anyway, it's crazy. If you want to ask some questions about that, hit me up. I'll be happy to talk with you about that. Otherwise, you guys have a great rest of the week and go and help each other out. Thanks.